What's up, everybody? I'm Josh with Combat Sports Today. I'm joined today by the Texas kid, Michael Aswell. How's it going, man?
It's going well, man. Can't complain. Life's good.
I know you got that big title fight coming up at the end of June.
Yes, sir.
Assuming training camp and everything's going pretty well for that.
Yeah, everything's been smooth, man. Can't complain. Body's feeling good. Mind's feeling good. Health is good. So everything's firing on all cylinders right now, man.
I believe this is actually a rematch. You and Cameron fought back in 2022. You're not looking past him, but given you have a win against him, is there anything that specifically that you think could be going different this time?
No, absolutely. I mean, there's definitely things that, I could take away from the last fight. Definitely things that you usually are your body's just naturally gonna do. It's just kind of muscle memory. But there's some things I could take that I didn't do well that I need to do a little better. And not even just that past fight with him, but in my past couple fights. So I think the main thing is just about continuing to grow and continuing to be better. And I know he's been doing the same thing since we fought. So I'm not looking past him. I'm not looking over him or any of that, man. I'm just training as hard as I can, trying to be the best fighter I can be, and then going and finishing him.
And just to give the people a little background on you, Michael, like we said, Michael Aswell, a homegrown Fury FC guy. Pretty much all your fights, besides the Contender Series fight, has been with Fury FC. 10-2,
Yeah.
50% finish rate in that. Background, kind of being a homegrown Fury talent. How did all that kind of transpire?
Yeah, man, it's been great. I started fighting when I was 17, and I've been training out of Houston my whole life. I'm born and raised in Houston. I luckily got to train with the legendary Coach Saul Solis. He was my first ever coach. Kind of the only coach I've ever had. So I was lucky enough to train from out of him. Got to pick his brain for um, I was at 14. I guess I think he passed away around 2020, about 7 years, man. So it was a blessing just to train with him, have guidance from him, and he liked Eric Garcia a lot. The promoter of Fury. He's like, I trust him, and most promoters are just kind of wishy washy and not really there for you. You know how it is. You've been seeing all the stuff with the PFL and all that. You don't know how some promoters are, and my coach, he's like, hey man, Eric's a good guy. He's gonna take care of you. And so ever since then, I started fighting for Fury when I was 17. Had my first Emmy fight around 2018, I think. And I think one of the earlier Fury cards, maybe like Fury 20 or 30 or something like that. But it's been great. I gotta thank Eric a lot for just allowing me to do my thing and letting me perform, finding me opponents, and it's been smooth. Fighting for Fury's been it's been great. They're class act. It feels like what it would be if you're going to a UFC level fight, which I've been to. Which I've done the walkouts and stuff. So Fury does a good job of just kind of getting these people ready. I mean, even me getting younger prospects like Josh Mann ready for the next level, and that's kind of what Eric's whole mo is. He wants us to get to the next level, and he wants us to do great things, and so I can't complain. Fury's been great to me, and
Everybody I talk to has great things to say about Eric and Fury, and they are a big feeder to the UFC. We see a bunch of Fury guys. I mean, we've seen you on the Contender Series.
yeah, yeah,
You mentioned Josh Van in the UFC now. Seeing you're training with the 4 ounce fight team. Pretty
for
sure you're
sure,
getting a lot of good guidance from Daniel out there. He
absolutely.
was in the UFC, PFL, Bellator vet. What's probably like the one piece of advice that you probably picked up from him that's probably helped you the most?
Yeah, I mean, my biggest thing when my coach passed away, I was just kind of in like a weird limbo spot. I'm not really sure what I should do. I was like, I've been home my whole life. Should I go out and explore? Should I go to different cities? You know what I'm saying? So I ended up going to Kansas City, and I was with the Glory team for a little bit, and then the whole Kraus and Betty scandal kind of happened, and I was still kind of bouncing around. I was in Houston. I was just kind of really finding a spot that I thought that was gonna fit me and fit what I'm trying to build, and people that I felt that I just kind of feel the love and kind of have the same look, same thoughts, same ideas and stuff. So I came to 4 ounce, and first day I was there, just a lot of love, and I could just really feel myself being there and kind of finding my place there. And when it comes to Daniel, I mean, it's every day that I get to go with him, and I'm blessed to be able to train with him and pick his brains. There's so many things that he's taught me, not just fighting, but just in life. And I guess the biggest thing for me, Daniel, just was only just we got to finish these guys, and I think that's another big reason why I went over there. I think when I was coming up with my coach pass, I was kind of lacking maybe a little bit more finishes, or maybe finding the finish, or being able to get out of there quickly. And I think meshing with Daniel, he's in my weight, he's in the UFC, it kind of gave me a tell of like where I need to be, where I need to strive to go, and like he has 100% finish rate, 128 wins. It's unreal. It's not even heard of. The closest is that guy Alvarez in the UFC, the
Oh
Spaniard.
yeah.
He got 22 wins, 22 finishes, but 28 wins, 28 finishes, really 30. Two of them uh, got no contest or whatever in the PFL. That's a whole another situation. But he
Yeah.
really has 30 wins, 30 finishes, which is unreal. So, just being able to learn from him, his guidance, and picking his brain, it's been a blessing for sure.
And I knew you had to probably pick up something being, the vet that, being the vet that
Uh,
he is and
I
fighting,
can't give away all of his old
oh yeah.
tricks and shit.
Yeah, got to keep some things
For
hidden in the
sure,
playbook there.
definitely.
The time on the Contender Series, can you just kind of talk to us kind of how that experience was, and would you do that again? Go through the Contender Series again?
Yeah, man, that was my like you said, that was my first time fighting out of Houston. My whole career's been with Fury. It's been in Houston, pretty much the same kind of arena. It's kind of been in town. So being able to fight in Vegas was kind of fun for me, kind of get out of the city, get away, and then being at the Apex, knowing, that this is where the UFC fights are had, you know what I'm saying? A bunch of weekends. So kind of getting that feel, getting that UFC feel and understanding, walking out and being like, I do this. This is what I feel like, this is who I am. When I was in the contender cage, it just kind of felt like a home. I was like, this is like where I'm meant to be. But the whole experience as a whole, it was great. I think we're only there for 3 days. I think we got there Sunday, maybe. No, we got there Saturday night, Sunday, weighed in Monday, fought Tuesday. But it was great. The UFC, they did a great job of just taking care of us, making sure that we had everything. Weight cut was smooth. The fight was what it was. It was, good for y'all, been good for y'all. It was. I had fun, I had a good time. I think, I got to talk to Dana in the back. He came out, talked to me, and just told me he thought it was a badass fight. He thought I won. Something comes
Yeah.
up, short notice, will get me caught up and all that. So, it was cool to talk to him. Got my bonus, got my win money, got my fine money, and I felt good competing over there. I felt good, in the arena. I felt it doesn't matter for me, man. Wherever we want to fight in Vegas, fight in China, fight in Houston. It's all the same for me, man. But it felt good. It was cool. I didn't mind the no fans or nothing. Like I heard my people. I had my peoples there. That's all I really needed. I heard them, so it was good, man. I had a good time for sure. Would I do it again? Yeah, I mean, I don't care. Like I said, I'll fight whoever, whenever. If they need me to do it again, I'll do it again. It's just been a weird situation, I guess, since that contender stuff happened. I'm thinking I'm getting short notice and stuff, but it's politics. I know what it is. It's not like I'm just gonna get the first opportunity that presents itself, I guess. But I'm just never been that fighter to sit around and wait. My whole career,
Yeah.
I've fought like 4 times a year since I've been 17. I fought 4 times in a year since up until this point right now. So even last year, I fought 4 times last year. I want to stay active. I think that's why I've been progressing the way I have. I think that's why I've been evolving the way I have. So, um, yeah, I told Fury, I told Eric, I said, hey man, I gotta fight, dude. I need a fight. I mean, I'll fight for my belt back, whatever I do. I gotta get some mic time. You know what I'm saying? You know how it is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I gotta go promote myself. I gotta go talk my talk and get my way into the UFC.
I think most people that were kind of shocked that you kind of didn't get a contract, even though you lost on the score, the judges or whatever.
Right.
But we have seen a lot of people either get a contract or be invited almost instantly back to the Contender Series. So that was kind of a shock to me and probably a couple of other people around the world watching, because it was a super close decision.
All right.
Definitely thought we would get a contract or see you on the Contender in the UFC again, but then you fought in a Fury against Dorian Ramos.
Yeah.
and here you are fighting for your title again, getting like you said, trying to get that mic time. Do you got somebody in particular that if you do get that win, who you want to call out, or is that still something you're kind of working on?
I think, with that whole situation as a whole, I think there's just a lot of, Dana just doesn't deal with the lower level fighters. Like I was thinking, oh, maybe he'll just sign me, maybe he'll just give me a contract then and there. But when there's no pen to paper, you can never just take someone's word. I got to see, the contract itself and stuff. So I never got it. It was being a little, you're gonna get it, you're gonna get it. Short notice this, short notice that. So I just couldn't sit around and wait anymore, man. Like imagine if I keep waiting, keep sitting out, and I don't fight for another couple months. It's September, August, like it's 8, 9 months not fighting. This is not me. I can't do that. I'm itching to fight. I want to fight. I want to get in there, man. So call out wise, I mean, I got call outs when I'm in the UFC. Who I'm gonna call out? It's harder to call someone out when you're in the local scene
Yeah.
just trying to get up there. So when I'm in there, I definitely call my call. But I'm definitely calling out Sean Shelby and Dana like post fight. You know what I'm saying? Telling them, what are we waiting for?
Yeah.
Really, like, what's taking so long? Like, but like I said, I can only control what I can control. I can't control when they're gonna call me, when they're gonna give me the contract and all that, but I can control, me training every day, me fighting every day, me putting in the work, and yeah, man, I'm gonna go get my title back I never lost and get on the mic.
Keep showing them, you're willing to put these fights on. You're not willing to,
Yeah.
sit around for that maybe and hopeful that, you're willing to risk it. And I mean, you're 24, you're young. Like I said, you got a 50% finish rate. That's exactly what the UFC seems to be looking for, young killers.
Hmm.
So, after this next one, getting that title back again, they can't deny that with another
What,
title.
right. What can we say now? What can they do now? What can they wait for now, man? I'm just like I said. I'm just happy when I'm fighting. When I'm not fighting, I'm all anxious. I'm cranky and stuff. Like this is what I do. This is who I am. It's my life. So, staying away, staying out is just I just can't do it anymore. I gotta go do what I gotta do, and I don't mind. Fighting for the belt. I gotta go get my get back. My boy fought him last fight, lost. My belt I never lost. Go kind of go close that chapter with Fury.
You're talking about, you're itching to fight and, you're needing a fight coming up. What's something that you do to kind of get away from the fight game when you kind of need to kind of center yourself? What's a hobby or something you do to just get away from it all?
Yeah, I mean, I golf. I'm golf pretty regularly. I mean, not regularly, but like when I can, I go. I love to golf, and kind of just kind of gets away from everything. You got 4 hours, kind of just on the course, not really worried about anything, not really thinking about nothing. Kind of just going in there, just focusing on every shot, every next shot. It's you hit a really bad shot, it's okay. You got another one, hopefully recover, hopefully get to the next one. You can't be so mad and so furious over the last one. There's nothing you can do. It's you already hit the shot, you already hit the ball. So kind of get back, kind of work your mentality, kind of get you back focused, and know that there's always another shot. There's always the next one. So yeah, man, golf's been really good to me. Hobbies, I kind of just hang out with my cats and my dogs, my chinchilla and shit. Kind of clean up, pick up the house. I just got a house, so kind of just hobbies, just kind of taking care of it. I didn't
D-
realize didn't
DIYing
realize how
everything.
much. Yeah, I didn't realize that there's so much to a house.
So you and
Sports.
DC are definitely going to have to get on the golf course once you get into the
Oh
UFC. You're going
yeah,
to have to challenge him. I know he's a pretty big golfer. I do
yeah.
believe.
He's been golfing hard. Yeah, I know. You got all the good teachers and stuff. That's all I need. I'm good. But if I got some coaching, I'd be really, really good.
So we could be seeing like the first crossover MMA pro golfer as well, possibly.
I
You
mean,
say you're good. I mean, you're going to cross over to the pro golfing world.
if I retire, at a good enough age, possibly. Yeah, I've always wanted to. I definitely want to golf in like the programs and stuff that they have.
I was trying to scroll through some social media. I believe you became the youth jiu-jitsu coach not too long ago.
Yep, correct.
How did you get into that and wanting to coach the next generation?
Yeah, man. I think Daniel just came up to me, had an idea. He thought it'd be good for the gym. He thought it'd be good for me. He just thought it's a way to kind of not force me, but kind of keep me at the gym a little later, maybe keep me a little longer, and then also help the next generation, and kind of stay grounded, kind of, um, not forget what you came from a little bit. That used to be not me. Luckily, I wasn't lucky enough to be these young kids. They're anywhere from 4 to 12 that got to learn at an early age. Luckily, I started jujitsu when I was on 14. Which is earlier than most that I hear, but still later than a lot. And the next one's coming up. So I think I think I do well. I think it teaches me a lot of patience, with these kids, and there's a lot of great things that have been coming out of coaching these kids. So, Daniel just had an idea. He thought I'd be a good fit for it. I told him I'd do it. Put a little something in our contracts together, and we made something work, and it's been going well, man. I've been growing the class. I think started with like maybe 3 or 4 kids. I think we're up to like 10, 12 kids now. So it's been good, man. I got a couple of them starting to compete and stuff. So it's been fun. It's been different for sure, but I think it's been a fun challenge that I've been trying to delegate.
Have you noticed anything since you started being a coach of instead of getting all the instructions, you're the one, showing somebody and giving them instructions? Do you feel any difference of you being able to take instructions now that you're coaching as well? Do you
No,
see?
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, like you said, all of that and more. So it's like even when I'm coaching something, I'm like, okay, well, let me see how I'm gonna present it. Let me see how I'm gonna show it. Let me see how I'm gonna make make a sequence where it makes sense to the class. And then sometimes you got some kids that are more experienced than others, and then you're trying to teach. You got to teach it a different way. Now I got to teach it in a way where maybe a 4-year-old would learn it compared to a 12-year-old, or someone with skills compared to someone that doesn't have skills. So there's a lot of a lot of growing, a lot of different things that I'm trying to figure out what it, but it's coming along, and I think I'm somewhat getting the hang of it. I think it's a process for sure, but it's been good for me too. Just going over simple stuff, with these kids, kind of brings me back to the basics, making sure that I'm still doing what I'm doing, still doing what I'm teaching them. Stuff that I'm teaching them is stuff that I'm still learning. Today that we're just kind of building off of. It's the foundation that I'm teaching them, and starting with the foundation and then growing from there. So it's different, but it's been good.
Awesome. It's good that, you seem to be embracing that. And the coaching role, is that something that you think you could see yourself diving more into as you get older and having more free time, or just, maybe once you retire, just becoming a full on coach, since you're kind of dabbling into it early?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. We'll see what happens in the future. I'm never one to kind of try to predict the future and all that, but could I see myself coaching? Possibly. I don't know. It's a little different when you're coaching these older guys and these guys wanting to fight. It's a there's a lot more to it than just the fight itself. So um, we'll see. I might just teach kids. They don't they don't
I mean,
require as
it's
much work. You just kind of patience, really. No, we'll see. Maybe opening a gym potentially. I could do that. I could see myself doing that. But I would probably, honestly, I'd probably just have someone coach for me. I'll just pay them to coach. I'll just buy the gym. They can manage it or whatever. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Like I said, it's hard for me to predict the future and predict, where I'm gonna go. I just know that I've got a lot of goals set for what I do want to do, and in the future and stuff. But
do you have a message for your older self, like yourself in 10 years' time? Say, if you're 10 years from now, you look back on this video, is there something you would want your older self to know?
yeah, man, I just keep telling my older self, uh, be proud. Look back at what you accomplished so far. Um, Hopefully the ride was enjoyed, and got to take some time and appreciate some of the adventures and some of the obstacles, some of the challenges that was faced, and look at it and say, yeah, I did that, I beat that, and I'm still standing today here and still you know accomplishing more goals that I got set, not just the ones that I already accomplished. I'm still looking for more, grinding for more, and looking to do more. Not just I guess in this fighting world, but just in life in general. And hopefully, I have a nice family, nice kid, and a farm somewhere. I guess with a lot of animals
I do appreciate your time. I know you're super busy with all the training camps and all the different things leading up to this title fight. Do you have any sponsors, training partners, loved ones you want to give a special shout out to real quick?
Yeah, man. I just shout out my mom and dad for sure. My sister, they just kind of been with me since I was a baby. Literally out of the womb. So always showing up to them. My boy, the 4 ounce team. Daniel, Chico, Frank, Joseph, all our coaches. Of course, all my training partners. I'm not even gonna name them all, but Josh Van is fighting in 2 weeks, so y'all make sure y'all go and watch that. I'll be fighting in 5 weeks. Shout out to my couple of sponsors, Elevate Water, Super Water. They've really been taking care of me a lot, man. My family's restaurant is called Villa Arcos Breakfast Taco in Houston. Um, Laredo Taqueria, another taco stand that has been taking care of me, and the Ritz Houston Gentlemen's Club. They've been one of my sponsors since I was an amateur. They've always helped me. They've always taken care of me, and yeah, man, just those are just a couple. I know I got a bunch. I know I got a lot of sponsors, but I'll be taking care of them and shouting them out soon. So I don't got a whole list I wish in front of me, but those are the main people that kind of been with me since the beginning. Aces, Performance, my cousins, Aswell, Fence and Gate. I guess my uncle, them two. Um, yeah, they've been there, since day one. Always been helping me. My neighbor is Salvador and stuff. So, yeah, there's a lot. I could keep going if I just put this list in front of me. So, but those are the main people, main guys, and there's my family, my friends, all the fans that always support. And that's another reason I want to fight. A lot of people wouldn't ask me when I'm going to fight. They want to see me fight, and might as well give the people one more show in Houston. Go get my belt back.
Appreciate your time. I know you're super busy preparing for that fight in June.
Sure.
We're all looking forward to that fight, man. Hoping to
Appreciate
get
that.
that belt back and get that UFC call up.